And we are live. I'm Andy Williams. This is my Substack, Creatively Curious, and I'm here with the brilliant and fantastic, unruly genius that is Stu Gamble. Hi, Stu. How are you doing?
All right, thanks. Nice intro there. Thank you very much. Don't know how much of that is true though.
Oh, well, I can certainly
Unruly,
attest to the unruly,
unruly, yeah.
the unruly bit. Having worked with you, I can attest to that, and I would also attest to the genius bit as well.
Ah,
They come as the whole package. So, Stu, could you, to get us started, could you quickly, briefly give us a kind of a snapshot on who you are and what you do for the people that are watching?
all right. So first and foremost, I'm an independent filmmaker, writer, producer, and director. My long history is I started in animation. I worked in animation for about 30 years. But it all started when I was a kid, seeing Star Wars and Jaws and all that kind of stuff. It led me to believe that I could do that kind of thing for a living, which was a very foolish thing to think.
Great.
Uh, and
Well,
and then
everyone's got to start with a dream.
yeah, well, I've been drawing, I've been making films and animation since I was a kid with a Super 8 camera, and then on to those kind of Amiga kind of line test machines and stuff like that. I went to university for a year just to use their equipment, but in the same time, I sold everything I owned and went to America to pitch Hanna-Barbera and Cartoon Network an idea, which then led me to Finn Arneson and Cartoon Network in the UK, which we met somewhere around that time as well.
We did, yeah. We
And
met on Nickelodeon.
yeah, and then that was in 1996, and then it took 4 years to develop that little pilot, and they commissioned that. Then I headed to Budapest, which is where I'm based now, to make that with Vargas Studio. Then I opened my own studio in Budapest for several years, and then I went around the world doing different kind of creative stuff for different studios, and then got really tired of animation and how long it takes to do anything, and started doing live action just after. I'd always done live bits and bobs of live action, like commercials and music videos and stuff, but I started to make pilots and my feature film just after COVID, just as we were coming out of lockdown.
Fantastic. Okay, well then let's kind of rewind back the tape. And I just wonder, one of the questions that I ask people is what their creative origin story was. So what was the equivalent of the radioactive spider that bit Peter Parker? What was there a kind of a Damascus moment for you that kind of made you think, actually, this is what I want to dedicate my life to doing?
I think I think as with most people in our generation, it's Star Wars. Obviously, that was the thing that got me hooked. But my first real experience of how anything film wise or TV wise can grab you was Jaws. It scared the
Right.
bejesus out of me. I remember that
And
whole
what did
day.
that make you think? What did that make you think then? What did that make you think, that experience? Was there a kind of a light bulb that got turned on, or
Yeah,
a switch that got flicked?
it's the ability to manipulate emotion that really that because I was scared pantless. I'll say I'll be and I was hiding behind my mum the whole time. And my mum was like, "When you hear the music, something bad's gonna happen." So my mum was explaining all these things to me that happen in films, which kind of triggered things in my.
Right.
And then from there, I'd always loved drawing. And then from
Yeah.
there, it kind of just snowballed. The Black Cauldron was another big thing. Tron was another massive thing. Then when I was 16, it was The Little Mermaid, which was,
Right.
phenomenal. And it kind of all snowballed from there. But I never actually achieved any qualifications in art at school. I failed all of that because I was always drawing cartoons.
Right.
And
Okay.
cartoons isn't art, as what I was told when I was so if my for instance my still life would have big thick
So
black
so from the
lines.
very beginning, you had a kind of a strong sense of creative disobedience.
Yes, 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 very very much so. And I think one of the problems with school teachers and examiners of art is they all have a subjective view on what is art. And
Yep.
if I'd have grown up in America, for instance, my cartoon art would have been embraced because it's a
Right.
very big cultural thing in America. But cartoon is an art in England. In the when and there was no animation industry to speak of in 1989, only in London, and I was in the Midlands, and it was impossible
Right.
to get in.
And e and even in London, because that was just as I was getting into the industry, the animation industry would really be kind of supported by commercial
Yeah,
animation. It was less kind of TV series or movies. It was, there was some amazing stuff made, but it was very much funded by, commercials for cereals and
and Milky
and
Ways, you know,
fruit
the
and fruit
red
drinks
car and the
and
blue
yeah,
car.
exactly.
You know. So
Yeah.
all those,
God bless it.
Kiora ads. You remember the Kiora ad and all of
Amazing.
that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah. Yeah,
All
yeah. And
those.
then and then
That's what
the
was
and
being
then
made.
and then the high and then the high fat, high sugar, high salt regulation stamps all of that. So people don't really know who the real victims of that legislation were, but poor animators that were relying on that as their bread and butter.
Yeah, you had they
Yeah,
had in
it kind of
Manchester. They had Cosgrove Hall, that was a staple of the North.
yeah,
But generally, there was no wide animation industry to speak of. And
yep.
so I started drawing my own comic books. I
Oh,
started
right, great.
working. I started working wherever I could. I worked in Burger King,
And
McDonald's.
what were the comic books about? What
Oh,
would the comic books be about?
just little comic strips that made no sense. They were mainly all action comedy stuff. It's been a thread
Yeah.
throughout my whole career. So
Yeah, and you're a very visual storyteller, so I can
yeah,
totally see how you could be inspired by Jaws and Little Mermaid at the same time. In some ways, I don't know if you don't necessarily shift gears in your sensibility from it being live action to animation. It's all
my
visual
live
storytelling.
action my live action has been accredited to a live action cartoon. It's the way that I cut, and
Yeah,
the way I cut on
yeah,
motion, on kinetic motion. So and honestly, working in animation for that long, honing my timing craft in animatics and everything else has helped me vastly with live action work. So
right,
the energy of it keeps flowing. It's really important.
right. And so, what was your you were kind of so you were on the outskirts of the industry there. You were kind of nose pressed up against the window, dreaming of kind of getting in. What was the kind of thing that opened the door and let you into the industry?
I tried to get in a number of places. Like Games Workshop was the big one in Nottingham.
Right.
Warhammer 40,000. If you could get there, you had a solid job. And because I did all the Warhammer painting figures, and I was well into that whole kind of
Yep.
as well when I was a kid. Um, but my art again was not realistic enough, fantasy based. It was always Black Lines cartoons, Scooby Doo, the Jetsons, Flintstones. It was always that kind of thing. And so for a very long time, I earned whatever money I could doing working in fast food places, or like I was a picture framer in a shopping mall underground for about 5 years, where I would earn money to buy paints and acetate and animation paper, and I would make my own things slowly over Super 8, which was a nightmare. Super 8, I don't think kids today realize how easy they've got it, because Super 8, I would draw it all. You'd take the one frame at a time, then you'd have to send that cartridge away for 7 days. You had
Yeah.
no way of playing it back or anything when you were doing things on such a shoestring budget. And you'd get it back and you'd thread it through your projector and you'd look at it, and my heart would die because it was like this, and then it would all lose its shape because you don't know when you're doing it that you have to do keyframes, and then you do the in-betweens. I just did
Yeah.
it one
Yeah.
after the other, so the hands would grow and eyes, the whole thing would be like shape shifting. And then a lot of people I think would just go, oh, screw that. But I, being stubborn, went, okay, I'll try again. And then I tried a different way. So that's how that all started. And then I met a producer in Nottingham by chance. He looked at my artwork and he, "Yeah, this is really good. Do you have any ideas?" And I had a few ideas. And so we spent the next couple of years kind of designing them. And then, like I said, I sold everything I owned in 1996. I
Wow.
think if my relationship with a girl that I was seeing hadn't broken, I wouldn't have done it. But it broke, and that made me go, screw this. I'm just going to put it all out there. So I sold everything, and I got on a plane to Hollywood, thinking that's where you needed to go to sell your ideas for a cartoon. That whole kind of like, yay, bright-eyed, innocent child in the city. So I get off. I set up we've set up a load of meetings with like Hanna-Barbera and Nickelodeon and Disney and everybody else. I'd met them all
And
at the
how did you set the meetings up then?
I met them all at the Cardiff Animation Festival. Remember
Oh,
that way
right,
back
great.
when? Back in that,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
were all
yeah, yeah.
there in 1996. They were all there, and a lot of them I'm still friends with today, like Heather Kenyon. I don't know if you know Heather Kenyon.
Right, yeah.
So I'm still friendly with her, and obviously Finn Arneson and other people.
Yeah.
So I met all those people in Cardiff Animation Festival, and they said, "Oh, you should come on over. You should come on over. You'll get work. You'll get a job easily. Your work's amazing." I didn't know, they were just saying
Yeah.
that. So when I turn up, they're like, "Oh, you're here." I'm like, "Well, yeah, you told me to come." And they're like, "Oh, but we didn't think you'd actually come." So yeah, no, sold everything I own. They're like, "What?" So then I pitched this idea to lots of different places. It was called Colin versus the World, and it was about a colorblind
Right.
chameleon who basically couldn't blend in because he was colorblind. And the tagline was, when you can't blend in, stand out. And it basically was about it was based on me and my inability to kind of blend in, and how, as you can see from what I'm wearing, it hasn't changed at all. And I pitched in all these places, and then I pitched at Hanna-Barbera Cartoon Network, and the guy that I pitched to said London is looking for something. And so I found out I
So
sold
back you
everything
go.
I owned and traveled 8,000 miles to realize I only needed to go 100 and not sell anything. But because I
Amazing.
got introed from the top, I got straight in to see Finn at Cartoon
Right.
Network, who was then looking for that first breakout kind of hit, or kind of idea that they could make. And I pitched, and he loved it, and we kind of developed it for a few years as they were trying to kind of, what it's like in the corporate world back then in '96. They were trying to get some money from America to actually make something,
Yeah,
which was
yeah.
which was
Yep.
so hard back then. But in 1999,
It's got harder
I
now.
yeah, it is. In 1999, I not only got first cut with Central TV, which gave me
Yeah.
£5,000 to make a short called Method that was on television. I also, a year before that, started making my own short, The Phantom Trick or Treater, which Finn very kindly bought and put on Cartoon Network on Halloween. He didn't have to, because they don't ever.
Amazing.
Networks never kind of acquisition 1 5-minute episode of something, but he
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
It was amazing. And then directly after that started Colin versus the World, the pilot, which was the first commission for Europe, for England, like a proper homegrown commission of a pilot. And then I went to Varga Studios in Budapest, where we made it, and it never got picked up to
It's
go into a
great.
series. I thought it was going to get picked up. This is it. I've made it. Every time when you get that first thing done, you think this is it. But little do you know that when you are the first out of the barn, you hit all of the problems.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know,
You're sometimes like you're the first person over the top, and then you get you're the
you get
first one
shot.
that gets all the machine gun fire. Um, yes, for the rather graphic image there. I mean, so when we met, I was running a brand partnership department, content department at Nickelodeon, and you
Yeah.
created some series of amazing animated commercials for us. You've kind of been more of like a gun for hire, directing stuff for
Yeah.
Lego animation and kind of a lot of animation direction. But then I was interested that you'd kind of moved into live action movie direction and
Yeah.
producing, I'm assuming. Could you? And so that movie is called Dix, although it's the I has an asterisk on it. So before we came on the call, I had to ask you whether it was pronounced Dix or whether there was some other
What would it be
pronunciation for
pronounced
it. And
if
you
it?
said it. I don't know, but because then is the I silent? I don't know. But you were kind of saying it also makes it a bit challenging. Yeah, it makes it a bit challenging for search engines, that
Yeah.
asterisk.
Yeah.
But so give me the kind of the background on the movie, what kind of inspired it, and also what you've learned from that, because you're coming into this is kind of a movie that's out there at the same time now that there's a lot of discussion about with Obsession and Backrooms about that kind of connection between social media marketing and indie films. And so that's a lot to kind of unpack, but just kind of give us a sort of journey from that movie in terms of how it was made and then how you've gone about promoting it as well.
I actually came up with the idea for Dix when I was about 12 years old with my little brother. We just watched.
Wow, that's a long development period.
Yeah. Well, as is any Hollywood picture. Um, so I just watched The Naked Gun with my little brother,
Right.
and we absolutely loved it. And we said let's write a movie. So we basically wrote one little scene that would become what we thought was going to be a movie that we could shoot on Super 8 or whatever. It was called Private Ears. I did not remember the title until my brother reminded me what the title was. And we wrote this silly thing about two idiot detectives who get a case. And that was it. We thought it was really
Right.
funny. We played with it for a while. We never shot it or anything else like that. But it wasn't until I was shooting Stationheads, which was my first live action pilot that I shot coming out
Right.
of lockdown with a massive crew, and it was over 4 days. We shot 20 odd minutes, which would be the final thing. And 4 days shooting something as opposed to 8 months working on something is. This is why I love
Yeah.
live action is the speed of it.
The immediacy.
Yeah, it's such a breath of fresh air because I don't
Yeah.
have to have a long conversation on how somebody should walk and then wait 4 days to see. It's literally 3 seconds, and then there you go. So
Totally. The other thing is it presents a little bit of a resistance to changing stuff.
yes,
So not that it's still possible to go back and reshoot, but it's more of a faff to do that than to ask an animator to reanimate a
oh,
couple
you
of
have to get
frames.
it
So in
right then.
some ways that's a blessing though for
Yeah.
a creative in some respects, because you can't just noodle something till you just are sick to death of it.
Unless you're me, then you take it into After Effects, you cut everything out, you move everything around, and then you get it just how you want it. You're like, okay, then.
Yes.
That's the whole animation learning as
Yeah,
well,
I can see that.
which is dangerous. But I think that if you get like-minded people when you're doing something like live action stuff, and I've found that I'm very good at casting. So because I guess I'm a bit of an actor myself, so I kind of know exactly what I want.
And
I'm
what do
pretty
you
good
look
at that
for when you
casting.
cast?
It depends what the character is, right? And sometimes with the two leads, I'd cast them in station heads, and I'd put them together because I saw that when they were chatting out in the green room, I saw a real chemistry between them, just how that they were laughing and joking with each other. And I thought, okay, that's my two. Even though I saw a load of other people for that role, for those two roles in station heads, when they came in, it just clicked.
Great.
They just had great chemistry, and that's what you look for in in whatever you do is, as long as if you can capture that chemistry, people are going to enjoy the ride that they go on with those two guys that are
Yeah.
actually, or two girls, like the two cops in it. They have great chemistry as well, and the four of them together have great chemistry. So that's what you want in a movie. You want chemistry, because then you want to be around these characters, whatever they do, because they
Yep.
make you smile, or they're endearing, or whatever. So we wrote the movie with originally, interestingly, it was supposed to be 5 YouTube shorts, and they were
Right.
about 10 minutes each, and they would be self-contained, 3 cliffhangers in each 10 minutes, end on a cliffhanger, and then when you join them all together, they would make like an hour pilot, a crazy hour pilot with multiple cliffhangers throughout, because that's what
Right.
Netflix is for, that kind of thing. So we
Yep.
constructed it scientifically to work, almost like vertical
Dramas.
series,
Yeah.
yeah. um and and once we'd shot all that, it was 65 minutes. I put the massive fight sequence in and everything else, because I put this 4-minute fight sequence in, like a John Wick choreographed fight sequence from
Right.
the guys from Dune 2. The stunt team from Dune 2 would finish on Dune, and then they'd come and we'd shoot that fight sequence, and so you got
Great.
Hollywood level fight sequence in it, and I put that in as proof that I can give me an action movie. And if I showed a producer in the States, I can do an action movie. I can do an action fight movie. I can do comedy, and it was kind of a calling card in that sense. But when I edited that, it was about 60 minutes. When I edited that together, I suddenly thought, there's a feature film here. This is too good for me personally. I thought this is too good to just be this series of YouTube shorts that might potentially just go up and never get seen by anyone or anything.
Right.
So I did something that you should never do. And even my American partner writer, Ernie Altbacher, he said, this never works. Whenever anybody tries to retrofit story stuff into an already made film, it never works. But I said, yeah, but I got an idea, because I love The Princess Bride. And I said, what happens if we have the kid in the story try tell a barman this story, and then all of these plot holes that are in this film, because I play the barman, I as the barman can pick them out, saying, "What this? Who's that? What's this? Why is it like that? That's a bit convenient." So all the questions that the
Love it.
audience might have when they watch this low budget independent movie, just as they go,
You
"What's
preempt them.
what's?" I preempt them, and they get, and that kind of, and I've seen it throughout the festivals. That kind of sweeps them along. They get, "Oh, okay, this is just thinking what I'm thinking," so it really connects with an audience. And because we shot all this stuff 2 years later, the kid who was 11 years old in the main story bit was suddenly 13, 14, completely different physically, and like voice and everything else. So it did look like it was done on purpose, like he was telling this story from his past, because of how long it
Nice.
took us to make the movie. So it all fell into place, and seemed to work. And at that point, it was also an idea to give some of the other characters some backstory, to flesh that out, and it turned into a 90-minute action comedy movie that absolutely nobody guesses the end. Nobody I've spoken to have seen it. In fact, I often get people go, "No," because you just don't expect the end that's coming. Because it's a murder mystery as well. It's an action comedy murder mystery. So yeah, it's fun.
That's great. And so what was your that sounds amazing. And what was your experience in terms of you made the film and now you've got to get people to pay attention and realize it's out there because did you really lean into social media there? Is there any lessons from that experience that kind of are
Well,
worth sharing?
any if you want to get anything done today, the old system is kind of dying. We're all reading it on social media, but anybody who's involved with the industry knows that you can no longer get any. It's literally impossible to get anything made. You have to show that you have an audience. So nowadays, what any filmmaker has to do, any creative person has to do, they have to build a following, build a fandom, build a following, build an audience, and then show that you have this audience. And because that's your return. That's the reason why Obsession is so big, is because those guys have built an audience on YouTube. The Backrooms is so big
Yeah.
because Kane built a massive following on YouTube with his viral videos. And so
Yeah.
the investors and the film studios can see that there's an audience there, because they don't even know where there's an audience. It just goes to show, look, Star Wars, like Obsession and Backrooms beat Star Wars. Who'd have thought that 20 years ago, that Star Wars would be beaten?
Yeah, crazy.
So it's all up in the air. Those kind of gatekeeping days are done, because you have the ability to connect with an audience, and that's what they're looking for, that connection. So I obviously, I'm part of a thing called the Film Insider community, which is run by an English exec producer who's Emmy nominated. He's called Hutch, and he does social media marketing, and he helps filmmakers kind of how to traverse that path of building an audience.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. And so that's what I've been doing with this movie. It's not released yet, but I'm continually. It was released in Hungary. We actually got a cinema nationwide release in Hungary, which was amazing.
Right.
And I won Kevin Smith's film festival last year. His Small Castle Film Festival. We won best comedy feature, and from that,
Great.
we got picked up by an American distributor. So it's out.
Right.
It's on physical Blu-ray and DVD, as well as streaming. It comes out in October.
Right.
Which is exciting. So everything I'm doing now at the different festivals and in the different places is I promote everything on social media as much as I can, which takes a lot of work. When you don't have a marketing budget and you don't have a team doing it, you've got to do it yourself. So not only do I have to work for a living, and also create new material for the next project, I also have to promote this thing, which is crazy. So it's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Yeah, and I think my impression is the creators that manage to make it work, in some ways their audience feels like they're part of that kind of creative process with them, really. And so I think I remember somebody saying that the work in progress was the new portfolio, that in some ways taking someone on that journey in terms of how it's made and how it's built from the ground up, that all becomes part of the promotion of the movie, and a way to kind of bring people on board, really, and to kind of build that band of sort of audience stroke collaborators stroke evangelists for a movie or a show.
Well, people want to be connected, and that's what social media really does. That's what TikTok and Instagram and all those kind of places does really well. And they want to go on a journey with you, and that because they want to feel like they understand your work, they know you, and that's why they follow you. And that's why you can't just do one post every 3 months or 2 months. You actually have to. You want some traction. You've got to be able to do 2 or 3 posts a day to build every single day. And people just want to. It doesn't. The great thing about social media, it doesn't have to be a Hollywood quality thing. In fact, a lot of the time, if you do that, people don't really pay attention. They like the
absolutely.
They like the rawness of it. So even if you're just picking up your phone and posting something where you're talking for 30 seconds or a minute about what you've done that day, or it helps. And it doesn't hit straight away. It takes a long time, but it's all about consistency.
Yeah, it's like rolling,
which I fail at.
Yeah, it's like
completely.
It's like rolling a snowball down a hill, isn't it? It's kind of, it starts small, but you hope it will get bigger. And I think you're absolutely right. You kind of want to design it in such a way that it's not a heavy lift, that it's a light lift. Otherwise, if you make it a heavy lift, it's going to be like you're doing the Stairmaster 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's kind of unsustainable, really. So you need it to be you need it to feel quite casual and quite throwaway in some ways.
Yeah.
And I think the audience actually responds to that within the context of social media.
Well, it's authenticity, right?
That's sort of what they'd rather. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
authenticity. That's what you connect with over social media. It's not this fake thing, because there's plenty of fake stuff on there. But if you want a true following, people who want to see your work, who want to comment on your work and get involved with your work, then you basically got to be as authentic as possible.
authentic. Yeah, and I think kind of with no discussion now about the media can kind of finish without mentioning AI. But I think within an era where there's a lot of discussion around AI, that authenticity, I
Yeah.
think, has kind of extra value, really. Although, kind of, I'm sure AI will be able to. Um,
Well, I
what's it that
started seeing some
Groucho Marx
stuff.
said? If you can fake authenticity, you can fake it. Yeah, you've got it made. But yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff from AI that I've had to actually question whether it's real or not, which is scary. But I do think that it's a tool. There is some AI stuff in my movie, because there's just some stuff that I couldn't do. Um, and as long as you use it, I think, as a tool, then and because what I did is I made certain pieces and then I put it together in After Effects. So I'm still
Yeah,
animating stuff. I'm just using it as another piece of software to generate something.
yeah. I mean, this is one of those ones that's kind of. Um, I don't think we've got time for a deep dive on AI. More of a kind of a paddle, while we're kind of on the
Dip
subject.
your
But
toe in.
I thought, yeah, we'll dip our toe in quicker. I just saw a writer from what was it? Weapons, the writer of Weapons, was saying that the first draft that he writes, he calls an elf draft, and he
Yes.
just imagines that he's an elf being paid $10 an hour, $10 an hour to do a script, and he just bashes it out, and it's rubbish. He said he'll finish it, and it will be embarrassing, and he'll never show anyone. Um, but he'll learn something from that experience. And when I was watching, I was thinking, I think he's absolutely right. And I think for me, the danger with AI is that people jump past that
Oh yeah.
moment, that they jump past the embarrassing first draft. That actually teaches you a hell of a lot.
Well, also
Because they
when you
then
use
just have
AI
that quick teleport.
to write like that, you actually think it's good, but it's not. Because because
Yeah.
that model is going, this is amazing, and you're like, is it? Because any artist who we're all insecure, so when someone's going, this is the best thing I've ever written, is it? Wow, this is amazing, I'm so great. And then somebody else reads it and goes, this is shit. I'm like, is it? Oh, whoa. So I think there's a danger there when you use it to do that kind of thing. I think he's right, you actually need to get the crap one out, and then
Yeah.
the proper one. And if you totally miss that step, then you're just going to produce crap.
Yes. So we'll leave it on that insight. Get the crap one out. Because that's your
That
first
should be
draft.
my new tagline on something. Not let
But
the right
that
one
sounds
in.
really good.
Not let the right one in. Get the crap one out.
I like it. What a perfect place to end it. But Stu, really good to chat. Yeah, really interesting to get kind of a snapshot on kind of where you are with your sort of journey in live action. And yeah, really lovely to catch up.
Yeah. Cheers, man.
Uh, and just before you go, is there anywhere that people can find you apart from on
Yep.
Substack?
Instagram. I think it's Stu Gamble. I'm on TikTok. Uh, they're the ones that I mainly post on. I've not done this Substack thing yet, but I'm told that I should do so.
Oh
Apparently, it's
yeah, it's worth it. Yeah, it's worth leaning into, and it's a great place to bring people in on that creator journey as well.
well. I'm just doing an animated project at the moment, which I'm actually in production. It's something that I've created myself, and I found some investment from somewhere. But it's with Peggy the hairless pug. I don't know if you know who this dog is.
Right?
She was
No.
dog. She was Dogpool in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, I know. Sorry, I
So
do know.
I've teamed with the owners, and we've created this animated show, which is this bitter old acting dog who's trying to hit the big time, and it's all done in like a mockumentary style, but it's all animated. It's adult animation. So that's about to be dropped over my social media and everything else.
Oh, great.
So it's something to look forward to.
So yeah, we'll look out for that, and maybe get you back on to chat about how that's going.
Yeah, all right, because that is
All
a
right.
case of building something from scratch, building an audience, because the dog has like 2 million followers, which is insane. So building that audience
Amazing.
and building it up that way. So it's a proper modern model of how to build an audience and sustain an audience.
That's great. And what's it called again?
It's called What the Pug.
What the Pug. Okay, fantastic. All right, we'll check that out. Thanks,
All right.
Hugh.
Cheers. Bye.
See you later. Cheers. Bye.